Yeah, I was saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set in us a nature of desiring things that Allah also descended for us as a matter of test. This whole life is a life of test. Did you hear the confession of the jinn? Oh, when people hear the word jinn, they say, oh wow, that's freaky, freaky. Why? Why they're freaky? If you're a sinner, yes, scary. If you're a sinner, yeah, you fear them. If you're not a sinner, they'll fear you. You'll be freaky to them. That how it goes? Let's see the confession of the jinn. I like Surah Al-Jinn. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل, that means say, O Muhammad, أنه استمع نفر من الجن فقالوا إنا سمعنا قرآنا عجبا. Subhanallah, it's so beautiful. These freaky creatures that if we may feel that they're around us, oh, what are they saying now? We heard an amazing Quran. يهدي إلى الرشد فآمنا به. Subhanallah. They said it guides to the right course, to rectitude. Rushd. Rushd يعني all kinds of wisdom, full wisdom. وَلَن نُشْرِكَ بِرَبِّنَا أَحَدًا. And we will never set up partners with our Lord, anyone. وَأَنَّهُ تَعَالَى جَدُّ رَبِّنَا. جَدُّ رَبِّنَا. What's the name of جَدُّ رَبِّنَا? غِنَى رَبِّنَا. The richness of the Lord, the nobleness of our Lord. مَا اتَّخَذَ صَاحِبَةً وَلَا وَلَدًا. He had never taken for himself a wife or a daughter. وأنه كان يقول سفيهنا على الله شططا. سفيهنا. Who's سفيهنا? They're saying the foolish one among us, the foolish one of us. He used to be saying about Allah an excessive transgression, evil. Who's that Safih? They're talking about the devil, shaitan. So not every jinn is shaitan. And not every shaitan is jinn. Is that correct? Not every shaitan is jinn. Not every jinn is shaitan. And not every shaitan is jinn. How do you understand? What does it mean? A person may be shaitan, a human being. A human being. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, if a person passes by you while you're praying, stop him from doing it. But if he insisted and persisted to make his pass before you, then don't allow him, even it may cause to fight with him. فَإِنَّ مَعَهُ الْقَرِينَ. For he has the qareen, his companion with him. That's why he's now in this precisely attitude. Now he's shaitan. That means a person may not be shaitan in a certain time, but sometimes he may become shaitan. That's very clear. The Prophet is not talking about shaitan, he's talking about one human being whose shaitan is with him, okay, inspiring to him to take his pass before you while you're praying. Now, look at the confession of the jinn. وأنه كان رجال من الإنس يعوذون برجال من الجن فزادوهم رهقا. And there were men of mankind who sought refuge in men from the jinn. Men from the jinn. So, if you seek help from those jinn, what would happen? But they only increase them in burden. They scared them more. Because the shaitan from the jinn when you seek help from him, or even if you say, may Allah curse him, may Allah curse the devil, don't say it. The Prophet said, don't say it, because he'll be saying, I defeated him by my power. But say, A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim. That is worst against him. That is stronger against him. Etc., etc. It's so beautiful, surah, subhanallah. And another confession, and among us are the righteous, and among us are others not so. We were of divided ways, just like what we have today. It was reported that there was an access to the jinn, and someone was talking to him and said, do you have cults like the cults we have? He said, yes, we do. Just like what you have. Jewish jinn, Christian jinn. He said, do you have Rafida jinn, Shia jinn? He said, yes. He said, those are the worst in our life. They said, and among us are also they are the worst. وأنا ظننا أن لن نعجز الله في الأرض ولن نعجزه هربا. And we have become certain that we will never cause failure to Allah upon earth, nor can we escape him by flight. They're so powerful, they're so speedy creatures. Yet, flying where? Running away from Allah. Where? He's the creator of their speed. No one can run away from Allah. The best way to make a solution with Allah is to run to Him, not to run from Him. The best solution with Allah is to run to Him. أين المفر? Where is the run? Where is the escape? إلى ربك يومئذ المستقر. You're running where? Your abode will be with Allah. How long is it going to take with you to run away from Allah? Now, وأن المسلمون وأنا منا المسلمون ومنا القاسطون. And among us are Muslims in submission to Allah, and among us are the unjust. فَمَنْ أَسْلَمْ. Now this is their confession, they're speaking now, the jinn are speaking. فَمَنْ أَسْلَمَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ تَحَرَّوْا رَشَدًا. And whoever had become a Muslim, those have sought out the right course. وَأَمَّا الْقَاسِطُونَ فَكَانُوا لِجَهَنَّمَ حَطَبًا. But as for the unjust, they will be for hell as a firewood. وأن لو استقاموا على الطريقة لأسقيناهم ماء غدقا. And if they but remained straight on the way, we would have given them abundant rain. لنفتنهم فيه. We will grant them rain, but also in the rain there's fitna. Even in the rain. Even in the great kingdom that Allah gave to the Prophet Sulaiman, it caused Sulaiman to say, هذا من فضل ربي ليبلوني أأشكر أم أكفر. Even in the grace, in the very grace that Allah gave to the Prophet Sulaiman, there was what in it? Fitna. He said, this is a grace from Allah unto me, to test me whether I will be grateful or negligent. وَمَنْ يُعْرِضْ عَنْ ذِكْرِ رَبِّهِ يَسْلُكْهُ عَذَابًا صَعَدًا. And whoever turns away from the remembrance of his Lord, he will put into arduous, he will put him into a great punishment. يَسْلُكْهُ, he will let him access the way of great punishment. Not only that, but the jinn said when they heard the Quran in another surah, فَلَمَّا حَضَرُوهُ قَالُوا أَنصِتُوا. when they met with the Prophet ﷺ, they said, keep silent. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he was with the Prophet ﷺ in a certain place, and alone, they were both alone. The Prophet said, wait for me here and don't seek to find me if you lost me. Abu Hurairah had to say, okay. But it took long with the Prophet. Abu Hurairah was so much concerned about him. Where is he? What's happening? And he was crying even. Maybe 1 or 2 hours the Prophet did not show up. Then the Prophet appeared to him and he said, why are you crying? He said, Wallahi, we had a great fear about you, O Prophet. That someone had taken you or kidnapped you or something. Then the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, I have met the delegation of Nasibin. Ni'mal wafd. Great delegation are those. Who are those? The jinn. A delegation of jinn that came specially to listen to the recitation of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I don't know, it doesn't tell. And I cannot add something from my pocket. Okay. Yeah. So the Prophet ﷺ met with them. And he said to them, for you is what mankind leave of bones, that when they were eaten, the name of Allah was mentioned. To you it will be converted to become the best kind of flesh. But what the name of Allah was mentioned on. How these things happen? Allahu A'lam. It's another system. See, then sometimes when we are accustomed to our system, we confine ourselves to our system. And this is stupid. And you can realize this stupidity when people say to you, you're making Allah body like you when you say Allah has hands. I mean, number one, he said it, not me. Second, we are comparing him to our system. Khalas, he told you he has a hand. Just keep quiet, okay? Believe it and say, yes, it is true. But how he has, we don't know. But you must believe. طيب. Since we are living in this world of fitna, as the jinn confirmed it, that Allah will be even giving them water, and He will see what they will be doing after that. Will they be thankful to Allah? And thankfulness is not to slay a turkey and the hand. You have a turkey in a hand and the wine in another hand. What kind of thankfulness is this? Thankfulness is to use what Allah gave you in what it renders to righteousness. He gave you money, pay. Give the best thing, as the Prophet was showing it in action like this, except one who gave like that, left and right, keep giving. This is the good thing. This is the thankfulness. So what are the important things that we should be doing in the time of fitna? We are in a time of fitna. You know, the Prophet even said that if you confine yourself in a room, keeping yourself away from fitna, worshipping Allah in the time of fitna, when people start to fight, for example, one another, shed the blood of one another, you keep yourself away. Because shedding blood, a'udhu billah, it's the worst thing. So what we have to do? Number one, commit yourself to the law of Allah. What does Allah want? Number one, the law of Allah is over any kind of law. It's the perfect one. No modifications. But do we trust it? Despite all the doubts given against it? So they may persuade you someday or another that you give it up. Would you give it up? Sure, you may, if you don't have the knowledge. See, the knowledge has great role to play in the matter of steadiness in faith. Al-ilm. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة. Allah strengthens those who have believed by the word of steadiness, by the steady word in this life and in the akhirah, in the hereafter. What is the akhirah? Okay, in my life, Allah will strengthen me, understood. But what about akhirah? Akhirah yani in Jannah? At the day of gathering? At the day of Mizan? No. What is the akhirah? Do we know that the grave is a part of akhirah? It has nothing to do with dunya. Al-Qabr, the first stage among the stages of akhirah. Al-Qabr. So the Prophet, that's why the Prophet ﷺ explained this ayah by saying this is Adhabul Qabr. Al-Akhirah means Adhabul Qabr. Because you will be also, as the Prophet said, it had been revealed to me that you will be tried in your graves. Such a fitna, tribulation, that is like or even close to the fitna of Ad-Dajjal. So it's not easy. It is not easy. Always I want you to be confident when the hadith is authentic. By this authenticity, you should wipe away, cast out the whispering of the devil who may come and say to you, would you believe that? Would you believe it? Are you sure it's going to happen? What if not? Like one who said to me after he was a religious person praying, he said, what if all what I've been doing is false and there was nothing behind it? What if? I said, Subhanallah. After all these evidences in the book, in the Quran and the Sunnah, and you come and say that? We have kuffar giving confession that this religion, this deen is great. You have hundreds of thousands of non-Muslims without any pressure given to them. They're converting to Islam. How closer are those to guidance than people like you? So, what is the fitna in the grave? It's easy. It's easy by words. Isn't it easy to give that answer? Now I'm going to ask any one of you. You, brother. Who's your Lord?
Allah.
Is it difficult?
No.
No. But in the grave, it may be difficult, it may be easy. Someone would want to say, it is Allah, my Lord, but he can't. He's going to be saying, That means he wanted to say it. But something is shackling him, preventing him from saying it. Why? It's the accumulation and result and fruit of his sins in life. He was ignoring Allah's do's and don'ts. And there it comes here to cause him a shackling and problem, stumbling block. So be it easy or difficult to give the answer, it is related to your commitment, submission to Allah or not in life. And even the angels, when they see the believer and they ask him, who's your Lord? They say, Allah is my Lord. What about that man who was sent to you? He says, Allah sent him to us and we believed him. The angels will say, we knew that this would be your answer. Now sleep. As the newly wed person, what do you call the groom, right? Groom. Bride and groom. Bride and groom. Sleep just like the sleeping of the bride or the groom. No one will wake you up except the most beloved one to you. So he'll be sleeping. Okay? That's another system. If you open the grave, he may be stinking even. Nobody knows. But he's living in another system. A better system. In the grave there is no food, no chocolate, nothing. But the believer, when he gives the answer, when Allah makes it easy to give the answers, and the angels will say to him the words of good news, have the good news of a pleasant God towards you and Jannah that awaits for you, then he'll be finding the fragrance, the smellings of Jannah passing by his grave, and he'll be able to see his place in Jannah, and that will cause him to say, please let the day of judgment come, after seeing his palace. But as for the disbeliever, this is haram. It's okay. What about this? Haram. What about this? You know what? Please don't return me to the Middle Ages. So they say nowadays, القرون الوسطى. أنتم يا متدينين تريدون أن تعودوا بنا إلى القرون الوسطى. You guys, you want us to return to the old ages. Wallahi, I would love if I will have, and if I'll be able to return myself, if I have a press of rewind track to the age of Rasulullah and his companions, I would love to do so. I would love to do so. I'm not happy with this life. I don't want this life. I want that life there, with the camels, with the horses, with the sheeps, living with those greatest generation ever, that no generation had preceded them, and no other generation will be coming after them. This is the generation. I don't want the Middle Ages. I want the first ages, the earliest ages. Fine. So what is the most important thing to do in terms of fitna? Number one, seek knowledge, because ignorance is a killing disease. Da'un qatil. Ignorance, da'un qatil, is a killer disease. If it's a killer disease, that means it's going to be causing a big problem in the ummah. And that's what the Prophet said. The Prophet said, there is a time that will come, knowledge will be erased, ignorance will be spreaded, fitna will be falling. So the Prophet ﷺ, he related, he made relevance between what? Ignorance and fitna, and the rising of knowledge. Tell you the truth, the people of fitna, the cults of fitna, aren't they supported politically? Like, for example, the Ahbash. They are politically supported. Why? It renders to their favor. It's good for them to support those minor cults. It's good for them. It goes to their favor. So that means struggling against those people should be our priority. And if you do not seek the knowledge that can shackle and stop those people, then you're responsible. Because you have left an open hole, gap, without being filled, while you were able to do. It's a sin. Second, so first is knowledge. Second, committing yourself to Allah's constitution, which should be the holiest to you. You should not give it up, no matter what. Third, remember, reading the stories of the prophets. Reading the stories of the prophets. This is also very important. See, when Musa was given warning by his people, saying to him, we are followed, we're going to be captured, it's finished, we're done. Because they saw Pharaoh and his soldiers. What was his answer? Kalla, inna ma'iya rabbi sayahdeen. No, I have my Lord, he'll guide me. Confidence. Something similar happened to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. When they were attacked by Hunayn in the battle, and they were shocked to find arrows being launched on them from all over the directions. Many companions, they had to leave, they have to run. It's normal. But it doesn't mean that they're running to get back to Medina. No. So the Prophet stood up, and Abbas was with him. And the Prophet was heard saying, Ana al-Nabiyyu la kadhib, Ana ibn Abd al-Muttalib. I am the Prophet, there is no lie. I am the grandson of Abd al-Muttalib. So this is also very important, because we need to have yaqeen. What is yaqeen? Yaqeen means also death, by the way. As Abu Bakr said, yes, Abu Bakr, or even the Prophet, he said, Amma huwa, no, the Prophet. He said it about Uthman bin Mad'un. Amma huwa faqad atahu al-yaqeen min rabbih. As for Uthman, yaqeen had come to him from his Lord. What is yaqeen? Death. No. وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى the Sufis say, وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. When you have yaqeen, you don't need to worship anymore. Khalas. Because Allah said it. Worship Allah until yaqeen comes to you. When you have yaqeen, stop worship Allah. You think we're not talking funny things. I have experienced these things. I have seen people who say, what is between me and Allah is ever greater than the prayer and the fasting. I am from al-wasilin. I am one of those who have arrived to Allah already. What do I have to do with the worship? Another guy, he was smoking. And he said, I know you. You are a great Sufi man. How do you smoke? He said, you think that this is a cigarette? I said, what do you think? Yeah, it is. He said, Sidi Abdul Qadir, Sidi, he mentioned many. He said, they used to be drinking the alcohol, and it appears to the people that it's alcohol, while it was milk to them. Ya Habibi. See the misguidance? Ghurur. Deception. Delusion. Salam. الصبر نصف الإيمان واليقين هو الإيمان كله. Patience is half of faith, but yaqeen is the whole faith. The first page in the Quran, لا ريب. صح؟ ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب. And you can stop, because these are different qira'as. Some reciters, they said you stop at لا ريب. فيه هدى للمتقين. It contains guidance for those who fear Allah. In another recitation, ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. There is no doubt that this is the book. هدى للمتقين. It is a guidance for the believers. Raib, not ghaib. Raib means doubt. La raib, there's no doubt. What is the benefit of all our talk? is to trust Allah's promise. Didn't Allah promise that eventually evil will be defeated and the truth will be victorious? Yes or no? Khalas. No matter what I see, wallahi, even if I see all Muslims are done, finished, died, and there's one only Muslim on the face of the earth, I will never doubt Allah's promise. Never ever. Because if you're not that person, then there's a problem in you. How can you promote, develop Islam while you need to develop in yourself? You need it for yourself. Now, so trusting Allah, being sufficed but by what Allah has for you, something that will be keeping you from seeking to need the need of people. Suffice yourself by Allah. Pleasing Allah, even if it was on the account of what? People's displeasure. Things that people may not be happy with you, but it makes Allah happy with you. Don't worry. Sooner or later, Allah will let them be pleased with what you say and what you do. And how many people did the opposite and it did not work with them? They failed. They neither pleased Allah nor pleased people. Wallahi, that is well known even by experience. That sometimes you try to please people and you say to Allah, that's the last time, oh Allah. That's the last time. You seek to please, then Allah puts you in trouble. Then neither Allah is happy with you, nor people are happy with you. من أرضى الناس بسخط الله سخط الله عليه وأسخط عليه الناس ومن أرضى الله ومن أسخط الناس برضا الله رضي الله عنه وأرضى عنه الناس. You should be also confident when you receive any tragedy, any musibah. Here it's needed. Here it's needed. People have nothing with Allah, no problem. But when they receive problems, disease, loss of children, loss of property, oh Allah, what is that, Ya Allah? That's a test. There are people who may lose lively thing, but they gain something else. Yani, what I wanted to say, how do I say it? There are people who have a problem, a disease, okay? They go to jinn or magic, and they think that they have no more disease. They may be having a disease, a problem, and when they go to the magician, no more problem. Like for instance, I think I mentioned the story of the wife of Abdullah bin Mas'ud. She said, I used to be having this thing happens to my eye like this. Then when this Jewish guy, he make ruqya and it stops. He said, that was the devil. He was deliberately doing this to your eye. So you'll go to that man. So he'll be making exorcism on it. So if he did it, then the devil will stop. So the devil may be behind what you think it is a disease. And that disease may stop by him after he'll be putting you in trouble, in shirk. And the disease of shirk is the worst disease ever. Now, who are the most two persons of yaqeen? I'm not talking about the prophets. I'm talking about among the companions of Rasulullah. Only? Name the second one. All right. The Prophet ﷺ said there was a time a man was using the cow for farming. And while he was doing this, suddenly the cow turned and said to him, I was not created for that. The cow what? Spoke. Then all the companions said, they shouted, Subhanallah, baqaratun tatakallam. Praise be to Allah. A cow speaks? He said, you didn't believe? Wallahi, I believed in that. I believed in this. Me and Abu Bakr and Umar. Why he mentioned Abu Bakr and Umar precisely? Because they were the highest people in being confident in every single word that the Prophet said. This is the yaqeen, the confidence. Trust. Subhanallah al-Azim. Yaqeen of Abu Bakr? No. Yaqeen? Two conflict meanings. Or even dhann. No, yaqeen, it varies. I thought you were talking about dhann. Yaqeen, 3. We have 3 stages of yaqeen. علم اليقين. رؤية اليقين.
It's talking about the death.
It's talking about the 2. Yes. Yaqeen means علم and death. Yes. Dhan also, it has 2 opposite meanings. It can be used for 2 opposite meanings. Such as dhan, which is kharas, any doubt, and confidence. الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم وأنهم إليه راجعون. طيب. So that's the second. Third, pondering upon the stories of the prophets. وكلا نقص عليك من أنباء الرسل ما نثبت به فؤادك. We are rehearsing, relating to you the stories of the Prophet for the purpose of what? That we may be strengthen your heart. So that's why when your children say to you, please, Baba, we want you to tell us stories. Try to be knowledgeable, try to be skillful in reading, in having in mind all the stories of the prophets. Because Allah said that mentioning the stories of the prophets in the Quran, it was one of the means of strengthening even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Fourth, dua, and sha'nu ad-du'a is azim. How beautiful, how wonderful is that? How wonderful is this, and how bad it is that people do not take advantage of that thing. What is it? Raising the hands up to Allah and keep asking Him. Sure, you take the direction of Qibla, which is much preferable for you. Raise up the hands to Allah and keep asking Allah, Ya Allah, help me. Oh Allah, I'm poor to you. Oh Allah, I need your help. Oh Allah, I need your forgiveness. Keep always engage yourself. Look, when Musa killed a man, look, first, فأصبح في المدينة خائفا يترقب. He was in Medina, يعني having some fears, concerns. قال ربي نجني من القوم الظالمين. Second, then he went to Madian. قال عسى أن يهديني ربي سواء السبيل. May Allah guide me to the right way. Keeps asking Allah, whatever, in every mode he is. Then, when he saw the 2 daughters that cannot take water for themselves because it was traffic, they were waiting until all people go, then they have water for themselves. Then when he saw that, it occurs to him that he needs a wife. And there are many people who come to the Shaykh, Shaykh, do you have a wife for us? Do you have something here or there? But they don't stand up at night in prayer asking Allah to enrich them. Look what Musa did. When he saw the 2 girls, he took a corner for himself. He isolated himself in a corner and he started to say, رَبِّ إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ إِلَيَّ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَقِيرٍ. Regarding to what you have descended on me, O Allah, I'm still poor. Huh? Look at the response. Next ayah. فجاءته إحداهما تمشي على استحياء. Allah gave him the rizq immediately. Right after raising his hands up to Allah, He gave him the rizq. Huh? She came while she was, in a great timidness, shying. She came and said to Musa, my father is inviting you to come to our house. جاءته الرزق جاءه الرزق من الله سبحانه وتعالى. فقال, then this woman, his wife, in matter of fact, his wife, she interfered between Musa and her father. يا أبت استأجره إن خير من استأجرت القوي الأمين. She said, oh Allah, oh my father, hire him. The best among those whom you hire is the one who is what? Trustworthy and strong. If you're trustworthy but not strong, it's a problem. And if you are strong but not trustworthy, it's another problem. So you should be having two characteristics regarding those who work for you, that you should be trustworthy and strong. Then right after what she said, he said, إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين. I want to what? Give you one of those two daughters of mine. على أن تأجرني 8 حجج. That you work for me. 8 years. فإن أتممت 10 فمن عندك. And the Prophet Musa, he did not say, I'm Prophet, how could I work with... But no, he was not given the prophethood before at that time. Anyway, so raising the hands to Allah, keep asking Allah, رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا. You know that you have types of sins that it may cause you to be diverted from the straight path. Because Allah said, فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُمْ. When they diverted from themselves from the truth, from the straight path, then Allah diverted their hearts. SubhanAllah, this is scary. Then another ayah, Allah said, one second please. I don't want to forget the ayah. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُضِلَّ قَوْمًا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَاهُمْ حَتَّى يُبَيِّنَ لَهُمْ مَا يَتَّقُونَ. Allah would have not been diverting people from guidance after the guidance they had attained, but because of what? But after Allah shows them the truth clearly, apparently. He does not misguide them after the guidance that had come to them, but it's because but Allah shows them the truth. This is very dangerous. We know the truth now. And the problem is that if we miss it, this is a tragedy. You want to say something?
Tell me that the best way to be exhausted by Allah is to put
طبعا طبعا لأن الإنسان حبيبي أقرب ما يكون إلى الله من ربه وهو ساجد. أقرب ما يكون العبد من ربه وهو, the closest will you be to your Lord is while you're making the sujood. So exceed sujood, as the Prophet ﷺ said. فَأَكْثِرُوا مِنَ السُّجُود. Exceed sujood. So dua is very important. Keep saying, Ya Allah, رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا. Do not divert our hearts after you have guided us. Remembering Allah, this is fifth. Allah, that was have you heard of Yusuf Islam, Cat Stevens? Yusuf Islam?
Yeah, we know it.
I was discussing with him once. And I was trying to convince him that music is haram. And he said to me, but look at the people, those Turkish army at that time of Khilafah. They used to be having these big drums. And they used to be scaring everybody with their big number, and and the sounds they make. I said, you know, at the moment when those armies will be confronting, facing, clashing with the other army, these kinds of drums will never give them any support. What will be supporting them and raising up their morals is this ayah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا لقيتم فئة فاثبتوا واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. O you who have believed, if you meet a group of an army, then be steady and remember Allah much abundantly, that you may be successful, that you may attain success. Remember Allah much, that you may what? Attain success. See the relevance between two. نعم فاثبتوا واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. اذكروا لعلكم تفلحون. So in Allah's remembrance there is a great success. Also try to seek for yourself someone of sunnah, a person of sunnah, that you try to stick to him. It's very important. Whom you know that his way is the best way, straight. Not only that, but if you can find shaykh, alim of the sunnah, you should stick yourself to him. Don't say that, sometimes I heard him saying some political words that I was not happy with, so that's why I gave him up. If you're going to give up all those scholars who may not be suitable for your politics, it doesn't mean that you'll be leaving them all. Okay, you disagree with something with them, but then you have to keep benefiting yourself from the other thing they have.
Such as?
If here we don't bring examples. No, Qaradawi is not one of them. No, he's not. Okay? Stick yourself to the elements that help in steadiness. Elements that help in steadiness. Such as sticking yourself to people whom you know that they are keys of righteousness, lockers of evil. مفاتيح الخير مغاليق للشر. Be with those people. Be with people of knowledge. Because always those people who stick to the book and the authentic sunnah, their mistakes are less than those who do not have that. Even if they mistake, their mistakes are less than other people's mistakes. Finally, trusting Islam and knowing the truth of evil, that eventually Islam will be flourish. Finally, Islam will be spreading, and the evil must be ended with defeat. The evil will never be conquering or victorious. No. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لا يغرنك تقلب الذين كفروا في البلاد. Do not be deceived by the alternating circumstance of the kuffar. Sometimes they may be advanced more than you. Sometimes may be richer than you, etc., etc. Don't be deceived by that. متاع قليل ثم مأواهم جهنم. Little of joy, and then their final abode is in Jahannam, in the fire. So don't be deceived. As people will be deceived by the Dajjal, the Dajjal, Antichrist. The Prophet said that he will be having a sort of water and fire with him. Garden and fire. The Prophet said, throw yourself in what you see with him as fire, because it will be cool water. And do not throw yourself in what you see as what? As cool water, for it is fire. And this hadith is authentic. So, also we find some places they're just like the fitna of Dajjal. When people visit for the first time, oh, I love to live in this place. That's the best for me. When he realizes the corruption, the problems, committing suicide, many other things, then you won't be happy. So what I wanted to say is, this life is a life of deception, as the case of the Dajjal is also deceptive. Illusion. No. Okay? So you see things that you desire here. Oh, that's beautiful. But it's not good for your faith. Good morality. Forbearance. I'm still, subhanAllah, struck with this hadith. That if you give a debt to someone, before the term appointed to pay back, you will be given 1/2 of the debt you gave. But after the time, the term appointed, that means if the man came to you and said, "Oh, 1 year had passed and I have no money to give." If you say to him, for example, "I'll give you 1 more month." Now, what came after the
Appointed time.
appointed term, you will be given your reward for donating him, not borrowing him. It will be doubled twice. Before, 1 time. After, 2 times. Yani if you gave him, for example, 1,000 pounds, let's say, multiplied by what? By 2? By 2. So how much will it be? 6,000. You'll be granted more. You'll be granted more. Finally, think about death and the upper world. Don't be so fool to keep yourself thinking about the bottom world. Go up. Go beyond what you see. And that is the matter of the hereafter. Jannah and Nar. And keep having the concern, will I be one of the people of paradise, or I'll be one of the people of hell? Let's improve our work. Let's develop our worship, make it better. So inshallah ta'ala, we'll be having more confidence and more sabr. You need in this life of test confidence, sabr. Confidence that what Allah promises is true. Sabr for the temptations that surround you. Otherwise, you'll be troubled at the day of judgment, and you will regret that you did not take advantage of this golden chance. You're still alive. You still can make it. جزاكم الله خيرا وصلى الله وسلم على محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين
Come
وإياكم.
back.